All right, so we're going to take a look at all of the ideas that you guys have generated, but we probably shouldn't look at all of them because there's a lot, and some of you guys maybe didn't like what you came up with. So in an effort to make this go a little bit faster and to not be cruel, I'll look at the ones that you guys like. So if you came up with an idea that you like, then we will look at it. If you are not here in the chat, then I'll ask, and if I don't get a response, then I'll look at it briefly regardless. But if you're here, you can pass on that, or you can take the reins and explain it to us, which should make this go a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to just start going down the line in order of these folders. For Alex, I don't think I see him in chat. So let's take a brief little look. Oh, that's taking a little while. Let's see. Okay. Total Control and Endless Runner. You are a futuristic thief that has received a pair of gravity-shifting boots using your phone's gyroscope. You rotate your character from running on ground to the walls of buildings and underside of the skyway, all while trying to escape police that are in constant pursuit. That's pretty neat. I think that the only problem I could see is that if you had to tilt your phone upward, like away from your face, you wouldn't be able to look at your screen anymore. If you're rotating your phone, then the direction of run would be flipped. But besides that sort of thing, maybe it could just going to be like a tabletop where you're going to tilt up or tilt down or something like that. So that's kind of interesting. Take a brief look at the pictures here. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're running into the distance, so you could just rotate your phone. So that's pretty easy. Cool. Okay. So there's Alex's concept. Do we have Ian here? I do not see Ian. So let's take a quick look. Game genre I think would be interesting would be medieval MOBA. Okay, instead of having weird races, the games like Dota or League would only be heroic characters that one could think of throughout history. Oh, okay, it's kind of a history mashup. All the minions will be assassins, wizards, or knight type characters. Okay, so limiting it down a little bit to make it easier. I think that the more realistic fantasy approach towards this kind of game would be unique enough to draw a crowd. It might be, but it would be very weird to have different periods of history mashing together and not have it be like humorous. Humorous with that would work, but realistic maybe wouldn't, because I don't know, if you have like World War II fighter planes and then like Alexander on horseback, that's not really an even matchup, you know? The map would be similar to Dota and League. Yeah. Okay. So, interesting kind of history mashup idea. Let's take a look at some basic... I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's the thing you collect. Okay. Yeah, kind of a map layout that would be a possibility. In case you don't know what a MOBA is. Yeah. And basic kind of characters. I'd be interested in seeing like how the historical references could tie in. So, that's Ian's concept. Alan is here. Alan, did you like your idea, or do you want us to skip your idea?
I liked my idea.
Excellent. Do you want to describe it to us?
Sure. So, this game was actually a shared idea that I did with Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be a sort of social, local multiplayer arena shooter.
Like a party game?
Isometric view. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the theme about it is supposed to be like attractive to people who kind of want that like silly, fun, comedic experience, but like it's almost in a nonsensical way.
Like Mario Party kind of works out, like it's all kind of lighthearted.
Yeah, exactly.
Or and Fall Guys, I guess.
yeah, that or like Among Us or you know something of that charm.
Sure.
And its main, I guess, feature is that it's got a little gimmick in its mechanic where when you shoot your gun, the only way you can reload is by doing your full 360. And we actually made a prototype about it in our previous game class.
Yeah.
And when we were playtesting it, it was just extremely like enjoyable because of how like nonsense it was basically.
Yeah. No, that sounds pretty good. Okay. So then we've got a few diagrams. So this is like your kind of your pillow character, like kind of inflatable. I think I saw you.
Yes. So the theme about it, right, like was inflatable pool toys. It could be all
Okay, sure.
things like a flamingo or a shark, and
That's great.
yeah, so like it'd just be very cute.
Are they firing like water pistols, or are they firing like Nerf balls, or like bullets, or what?
Yeah, like water guns and things of that nature. So it's more kid friendly in that regard.
Sure, a little Splatoon like then as well. All right, yeah, I can see how that would work. So you got kind of like pontoons and like floating inflatable bits, maybe like kind of how you have it like raging waters, like a wave pool or something, floating around in there and trying to shoot each other. Makes sense to
totally.
me. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to explain?
I guess that the maps wouldn't just be exclusive to like those beach themes. It'd be, I guess, anywhere where you would find pool toys. I don't know, backyard or water park, things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe an iceberg or something.
Sure. I think that it doesn't even have to make 100% sense. Like you could be on, a cruise ship or something. It's like, would water toys be all over a cruise ship? Maybe not, but it's kind of in the theme, or just set them wherever you want and just make the world out of inflatable toys. Yeah. Isaac says there's different weapons.
Yeah, I didn't draw him in this one, but I think he might have in his version.
Well, what do they do?
Oh, well, for example, your default weapon would shoot once and you'd have to reload to spin around. You would reload, and perhaps another weapon would as like a kind of like a gag, you'd spin around and shoot and the bullet would come behind you.
Yeah,
or it'd be like a shotgun spread or something.
Okay, sure, I could see that. Or maybe like something you'd lob as opposed to shoot would be another potential kind of difference, because you can have like water balloons to tie into your theme. Or even if it was just like something heavy that splashes in the water around, that would make sense. Cool. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Aviel, are you here? I don't see you. So let's take a quick look. I'll look at the picture this time. This kind of looks like an RPG or like a point and click or something like that. Let's see what the write-up says. Oh, RPG, turn-based combat. Okay. Space mercenaries that travel vast systems to gain treasure and uncover mysteries that are hidden on multiple planets while fighting hostile combatants. The game has a click-to-move control style, but when combat is in turns, it's like a turn-based strategy. This game gives you and your friends freedom to travel and explore. Okay. So kind of an open-world sci-fi sort of turn-based RPG. So makes sense to me. That seems pretty wide open, but yeah, I've definitely experienced that kind of game before. Yeah. Okay. Jimmy here? Don't see Jimmy. Okay, so we'll take a brief look. Take at the images. Boba Fun containers. Okay. Oh, I think he's making like a puzzle game or something. Let me see the last image before we read. Yeah, definitely kind of a puzzle game kind of thing. Let's see. Match 3 kind of game where your player must match 3 Boba Pearls with the same color characteristics. Simple, plain, easy to pick up. Designed to be played on a mobile phone with one hand while drinking at the other one. So wait, what does that leave you available to play with? Like your thumb? You got a phone in one hand. You got a drink in your other hand. I guess you could wiggle free like one of your fingers to swipe on the screen, or you could use your thumb. Straw and other ingredients such as ice and fruit help to add fun and difficulty. Boba that matches are sipped up through the straw. Well, it's definitely cute and funny. I'm a little bit hazy on how it actually works. I guess maybe you swipe your finger through the 3 to match them, and then the straw goes over to it to slurp them up or something. So that's kind of cute, almost like a... it almost kind of reminds me of like Dr. Mario in conjunction with like Bejeweled or something like that. So I could definitely see the style of that being fun to design, and definitely has got a lot of inspirational characteristics already here. Nice kind of classic arcade style gameplay. Different shapes and sizes for puzzle complexities, huh? I guess that's interesting. Like if you had 2 parts of the container, it might be harder to match up, or maybe there's some physics involved where you tilt the phone and they kind of float or bump around in there so you can get them lined up properly. Interesting. Very cool. All right. Trevor here. Do not see. So it turns out I'm just going to go through all of them because not enough people are here to tell me not to. Let's see. So we got some crazy lich-looking guy in a graveyard, I think. Snowy. Sort of looks RPG. I think it's probably RPG. Phosphate layout. Okay. Let's see what the write-up says. 2D JRPG. Okay. Ooh, this is a little long. I think we will suffice it to say that it is a 2D JRPG. And that he's got some sort of battle system in place. But I'm probably not going to crawl through that to try to figure it out. Since he's not here to explain it, we'll just say, it looks kind of cool. He's got a 2D JRPG idea. If you guys are way on fire for this, we'll investigate. But otherwise, I'll leave it at that. Okay, Rudy. Oh, is Rudy here? Rudy's here. Do you want us to skip yours or do you want us to read yours?
You can read mine.
Okay. Let's see. Horror movie slasher like Freddy, Jason, Pennywise in a Mortal Kombat style fighting game. Yeah, that makes sense. Iconic horror locations, you face other players and bots. Yeah, okay. Fighting game featuring classic movie monsters and slashers. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right. Anything special?
Maybe I was thinking about adding like costumes, like when they like change the looks of the characters.
Sure, but it's basically a Mortal Kombat though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just meant like function-wise, like how it works. Like it's meant to be played with controllers, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you will be able to tell. It was I got it from Mortal Kombat, but also like I think they already like made a game similar to that.
Oh really?
Called Terror. I think it was called Terror Dome.
Okay.
Rise of the Boogeyman.
Well, it's always fine to do something similar to that. I mean, classic movie monsters are a trope, and fighting games are a genre, and so maybe this could be combined in a slightly different way, where it's more kid friendly, or it could be funnier, or it could be more gory or something. Like any of those are fine.
Like it could be like cartoonish.
Yeah, Nate says Chucky would be broken. That's pretty. Although there's Leprechaun, right? I don't know if you guys remember Leprechaun.
I remember watching the Leprechaun.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have added him.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. Let's see. Isaiah. We have Isaiah here. Looks like no. Let's take a look real fast. Oh wait. Let's see. Oh, we got. I think it's a fighting game. Or maybe it's like a Mega Man kind of thing. Let's find out. Diagram. I think he's like transforming. Health bar switch places. If character's health bar reached 0, then it's game over. Forgot to label this in the diagram. Okay. Yeah? That makes sense. I'll read that right up instead of reading handwriting. Let's see. I think it's like a Mega Man thing that he's going for, but it could be a fighting game. Let's find out. 2D platformer, yeah. Cyberforce, the 2D platformer where the player controls a teen who can transform into a power suit that must save the world from robotic invasion by completing missions and defeating bosses. Cool. Yeah, I would say that's very much like Mega Man or maybe Metroid, something like that. Coming up with the kind of powers and the suit and the robots would be fun. And exactly what's going on in the world design would be kind of fun. Okay. Makes sense to me. Let's see. Elias. Elias here?
That's me.
Would you like me to skip yours or do you want to read yours?
Skip it, I'm shy.
Skip it? Alright. Crystal. Do not see Crystal. Let's take a look. Let's see. We've got dubstep rhythm game. Would that work? Yeah, I think that would work. Okay. Dubstep rhythm game with cinematic visuals and landscapes. Ooh. Based on modern day Greek mythology. You know, that's a very popular theme recently. I've seen a lot of like futuristic Greek mythology or modern day Greek mythology. I don't know when that started out, but yeah. Plays goddess of ghost and nightmare Melino. How do I say that? Melino? Melino? Probably. She journeys through the realm of gods to save her family from Mount Olympus, from Kronos and the Titans. Move through each realm, obstacles, along with dubstep soundtrack, and each mechanic changes depending on the song, such as timing on buttons, maneuvering through obstacles. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, so kind of a rhythm game, but let's see the layout that she's got involved. So we got some characters and UI and stuff like that. Let's see more of the gameplay. Oh, okay. So we've got kind of a showpiece art kind of setup in the top, but scrolling across the screen, we've got the prompts for what you're doing. So that's kind of cool. Depending on how they move, I'm not sure how she imagines it. Either they're scrolling or they're like popping up. I've seen both before though. Let's see. It's kind of neat. It's almost like a quick time event kind of thing, but like that's the whole mechanic. It'd be pretty neat. Yeah, especially if done primarily through paintings. That would be very neat. Okay. Not quite sure what all of the different stuff is going on here, but definitely got a kind of cool concept there. It'd be a little tough to figure out exactly what all of this means without her to explain it. But yeah. So we're going to need help figuring out how the points will be tallied. Usually rhythm games do it based on continuous chains, like not missing anything, or like giving you especially hard sections to boost your score that are optional. That sort of thing is usually pretty standard with like Guitar Hero and Rock Band and stuff like that in DDR. Cool. All right. Very nice. Let's see, Robert. Robert here? Robert's not here. No. Interesting. All right. Let's see. So we got, I'm not sure what we've got. Filthometer. And that's promising. Consumables. And then there's some sort of like rocket and a balloon. Player enemy spills flamethrower. Oh, I think it's like a top-down, like you're in a junkyard. And you're like cleaning up the junkyard. Let's see. Arcade Geometry Wars style high score game. Okay, yeah. Top-down twin stick hack and slash. You're armed with a flamethrower, sledgehammer, mop, burn trash, smash obstacles, mop spills to earn points. I kind of like this. The trash monsters emerge from the trash mountain, occasionally spawning obstacles such as debris, soda cans turn into spills. Trash monsters like trash bags hop and hobble to explode on you and add filth to the meter. That's funny. Okay. Yeah. I see how that would work. So I'm actually playing a game similar to that every day because my son watches me, like demands it, Nuclear Throne. where it's just kind of a top-down twin stick kind of shooter. And so yeah, I could definitely see this, and it seems like it's got a funny kind of sense of humor, sort of like a 90s Garbage Pail Kids kind of humor would work with this. But yeah, I like it. All right, very good. Sofy. Do I see Sofy? I do not see Sofy. So let's take a quick look. We've got main character with magic staff, little magic kitty. Upgrade his hat. Got cloaks. So it looks like we got costume pieces and equipment to upgrade the kitty cat. There's a boss area and a castle with a side view and an enemy. I don't quite know what the game type is yet. 2D pixel art platformer. Okay. So pixel platformer with like a little magic cat as your main character. Play Artemis, the magical cat, and travel across lands defeating monsters while upgrading your magic cat, staff, and cloak to give you different abilities, power-ups for your journey. So that could be a little Metroidvania if you retread the same areas over and over. If you don't, then it's a bit more like Mega Man, where you start out with basic abilities and then build up to more crazy abilities. And either way, works out. Okay, cool. All right, Yesenia. I think you are here. Do you want me to skip yours or read yours? We're getting... I can read it. Yes. So we've got sci-fi third-person action adventure. Okay, third-person action adventure. So that's... oh, what's that? It's a really popular game series that's like that. I'm blanking on the name. Oh, well. Yeah, that's really similar to a current game series that's very popular. Move, sprint, duck, jump, climb, inventory, management, shooting, combo attacks. That's cool. No, I wasn't thinking of Gears of War. I was thinking of... it has Commander Shepard in it. What's the name of that one? Mass Effect is what I was thinking. Third-person sci-fi action adventure. That's what I was thinking. So we've got armor reducing, damage from stuff. I don't quite know what that means, but okay. Can get these boosts after killing an enemy. All right. So we've got third-person shooting, running and exploring, inventory management. I guess it's like Fallout as well. Yeah. Makes sense to me. So we would have to just think about what's the setting, what's the nature of the sci-fi, and it looks like we got kind of an animal hybrid character, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Makes sense to me. All right. Thank you. Andrew. We have Andrew here. Don't see Andrew. So take a quick look. Maybe a survival game? Looks like a survival game. Let's see. Oh, a survival board game? Players may rotate the board on their turn. Floor pairs behind the board. Wolves will begin to hunt the players. Ooh, interesting. Huh. Cliffhanger is a co-op board game where you are part of a special team of mountain climbers, 1 to 4. It's your team's job to search and rescue survivors of a plane crash from Treacherous Mountain. Survivors can be anywhere, and the mountain is not forgiving. Your journey, weather, animals, and many other things will fight you as you try to complete your goal. Make decisions wisely. Is this a... Oh, it's a co-op. Okay, so it's like Pandemic in that you all either succeed or you all fail. So you probably have to split your attention and resources cleverly to make sure that you can survive this, I guess, and maybe get more than half of the survivors or something like that is what your goal is. I think that's kind of a cool sort of layout. I'd have to think about how that would work as a board game, because obviously like tilted cardboard wouldn't be something that you could realistically play on, but maybe terraced or something would make sense, or maybe just sort of a two-dimensional graphical kind of mountain. Oh no, they're saying they want you to rotate it. So that's an interesting sort of puzzle of like, how would you get it so that you could actually place pieces? I guess you could have little cardboard cutout pieces that kind of slot in like shelves going up along the thing. a little bit of assembly required or something. Cool. All right. One, do you want us to skip yours, or do you want to read it? Would it be off to make it completely virtual? No, I think it would be fine to make it virtual. You can have virtual board games, and it would solve a lot of those problems and then allow us to make like animated characters and stuff. I can read it. Okay. Okay. Action, horror, survival zombie game with looter shooter mechanics. So kind of like... crap, I'm always blanking all the names of these things. Borderlands. Kind of like Borderlands, but with zombies, sounds like. Set in a post-apocalyptic zombie-infested city in which players must fight against hordes of zombies and other survivors. In order to survive, players must scavenge and find various supplies, as well as upgrading their characters with high-value loot obtained by exploring, trading, buying, completing special missions. You know what? It never occurred to me, but this makes a lot of sense. A zombie game with a looter-shooter mechanic makes sense because a zombie's dumb and can't use its own equipment and clothing and stuff. But if you had like a firefighter who turned into a zombie, they're wearing a fire suit, and they might even have like a fire extinguisher on their person that they don't know how to use, but you'd have to kill them as a zombie to take that stuff away from them. Or like a medical EMT might have like a first aid kit like on their belt or something that you've got to take away from the zombie. Like that kind of looter shooter with a zombie thing. I don't think I've ever seen that, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. You know, zombie's not going to use that, and you need it. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Imagining kind of a third-person top-down or like a third-person over-the-shoulder, first-person shooter kind of thing. I'm not sure if you mentioned. FPS. Okay. Let's take a little look. So maybe a Gears of War kind of FPS where you transition from third to first? Like if you're in cover or something? So that's kind of what you're drawing. Airdrops, yeah. Yeah, or like the keys to a place. Like if you found like a security guard and they were a zombie, they'd probably have their key ring. So it'd be really useful to take down that security guard to maybe even get like, I don't know, flashlight, pepper spray, baton, key ring. That'd be like a really high value kind of target. Okay. Makes sense to me. And even just normal kind of regular scrap, you know, cobble it together and make some apocalyptic weapons. I like it. Very good. All right, Joshua. I think I'm just going through all of them now. Let's see, it looks like we got a first-person shooter, possibly with zombies. This guy real creepy. Yes, zombies. Okay, zombie survival, open world, story, co-op, horror. That's a lot of genres. Probably want to pare this down a little bit. You play it as a survivor trying to survive in a zombie apocalypse. You can choose to build your own community and recruit other players or NPCs. So that's kind of like Rust, I think. Yeah, I think they're thinking like open world, kind of like Rust. Rust with a lot more hostile stuff running around all the time. Or Daisy, I guess, is another version of that sort of thing. Okay. Cool. All right. Isaac.
Yeah, I'd like to see it read.
Okay. Casual top-down action arena shooter. Oh wait, isn't this the same one?
This was in co-op with Alan's.
Yeah. So I mean, is it different than what we already read?
Yeah, but the pictures of it, you actually get to see the characters, although I'm not the greatest artist.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So here's our kind of arena that we're looking down on. Circular platform, super soaker gun, projectile pushes player off the map. Oh, that's great. So when you 360 and you can fire, do you have like a certain kind of like reservoir that's depleting as you're firing, like maybe 3 seconds of continuous stream and then that's it?
Well, it depends on the weapon that you get. That one in particular, yeah, you would have a meter.
Yeah, so you're firing and like maybe you've got half a tank left and you could keep firing, or you could 360 to fill it up or something.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah, and knocking off a platform is a good kind of Mario Party sort of mechanic for this sort of thing. We got a inflatable shark and a flamingo, a projectile nail gun. Jeez. Eliminated players pop. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. This could be like funny and kind of almost cartoon gory if there's like a bed of nails down there or something. All right, cool. You have anything to add from earlier?
Not too much. I mean, we have other items and weapons and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
in short, we'll just keep it where it's at.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Nathan. What you got, Nathan? Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to explain it to us instead of me reading it?
Maybe you can just read it, and then
Okay.
I can explain any pictures.
Okay. Beat 'em up game. Mutated ex-veteran goose whose daughter has been kidnapped by a gang leader, Duck, and now you must beat up every gang member in the city with every weapon at his disposal. So this is like Streets of Rage with a mutated goose.
Yes.
Nice. I can't imagine what I could possibly not like about that. Nice. Duck Zuka, and this guy looks like some kind of rat king. Very good. Down in the sewer. God, I want this already. There's bread on the ground. Gang member ducks. Damn it. It's too good. I like this guy. This guy back here. Great. Okay. What makes ducks turn bad? That's what I want to know. Okay, some character controls. You explaining melee, gun range. Oh, okay. So you could see a highlight. That's helpful as a sort of like shadow in the ground. Consumables. Yeah, I mean this is pretty standard kind of Streets of Rage, except for I think this ultimate thing. I don't really remember that, but I guess that makes sense. Like eventually you can do some sort of special attack or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Arcade side scroller. Cool. Okay. Yep. Makes sense to me. This takes me back to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I used to play that like crazy in arcades. Awesome. Okay. Should we look at references? Oh, like Castle Crashers? Yeah, yeah. Sure. What's that one?
So when I was researching for some beat 'em up games, I found this one game called Full Metal Furies.
Or Furies, maybe?
Furies, sorry, not Furies. Furies.
Yeah.
And it has this interesting, and that's where I got the idea of the gun mechanic. Because,
Right.
like, there's like a pilot on the ground, and I was like, oh, that seems cool.
Yeah. Yeah, these look great. That's cool. Yep. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I like the pixel art style of that one. Okay. Anything you need to explain that we maybe didn't get? Seemed pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the only thing I wasn't able to add was the fact that you can, once you kill a boss, you can get the weapon. I totally forgot about that one. Like, the
Oh.
king was holding the staff.
Oh, okay.
You can get it once you beat him.
Yeah. Okay. No, I get that. Cool. All right. Thank you. And then we've got Salvo. Take a look. Survival. Man obtained demon samurai suit to slay demons and seek revenge for the murder of his family and people of his village. Cool. Third person. Probably third person action adventure exploratory. So we're thinking like a little bit Zelda-like or like Devil May Cry or whatnot. I will assume.
I think Omni
Mm-hmm.
Omniusha?
Onimusha? Or what's that? Yeah, I know what that is, but I'm blanking on the word. Yeah. No, this is reminiscent of many. I think Devil May Cry is the one that comes to mind for me. But yeah, I know what we're talking about here. Execution style death mechanics. Yeah, that's cool. Like what do they call those? Like a quick time event sort of thing that you can do. Successfully, then enemies can be killed instantly. Yep. If failed, then players are forced back to the last checkpoint to do it over again. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Cool. Does he want to add anything to these images and notes, or pretty self-explanatory?
I wanted to add more to the notes, but I was trying to figure out what to add. I thought 3 was enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I just left it with those 3.
I meant if you wanted to explain anything right now.
Well, it's more like the Omniusha.
Let me look that up. What is it called? Onimusha?
And you just connect the game mechanics and
like this.
I want the camera to be able to, or the camera could like follow around like 360.
Yeah.
The character.
I can't remember how long ago it was when I played this, but yeah, it was like a third-person camera. You could see your character. It would follow you around the environment, but there would be occasional cutaways for like special cinematic kind of events. You were fighting demons the whole time, that sort of thing. I think maybe 2001 is when I played it, because I have not played it recently, so it might have been way back then. Cool. All right. Very nice. Okay. So that's the whole group of them. What we got to do is we've got to pare this down to just a few that we can have a runoff with and decide what are we going to design as a class? What are we going to make assets for? So let me see. We've got to limit down to a couple favorites. Well, unabashedly, I like the idea of Streets of Rage with a goose. So I'll just say that I like that one a lot. I know that's super silly and stupid, and I don't care. It's definitely fun. So let me do this. I'm going to make a just a text thing that just says vote on it. I'm going to add emoji to it to represent these various games that we'll vote on which one we want to do. So for the goose one, I'll just find a picture of a goose because I like that one. I'm going to nominate that one. There's a lot of birds here, but there's no goose. There's a duck, a dodo, an eagle. Oh, there we go. I'll use a swan. There you go. There's a swan. Also, who was it? It was Alan and Isaac. Your inflatables game. Probably we should put that one in the running as well, because it seems really well thought out, very simple, easy to execute on, and I know you guys like your idea a lot. I'll do a squirt gun for that one. So we got a goose and a squirt gun. Would anyone like to nominate one of the other games we saw, not your own, but one of the other ones that we saw, as being particularly promising that you would be really interested in doing art for?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the idea of the trash stuff from Robert.
The top-down trash kind of beat 'em up sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that as well.
Okay. Anybody else interested in nominating?
I liked Sophie's idea.
What was Sophie's? Oh, the Magic Kitty?
Yeah.
Magic Kitty platformer? Yeah, okay, I did too. So let's do we have... What do we have that could represent those? Okay, so for the trash one, here's a little happy poop. for the Magic Kitty. Let's see if I can find something. Is there a wizard? I remember seeing like a wizard.
Do a cat.
I could just do a cat, but I want to do a wizard. There's a wizard. All right, so we got 4 of them to run off, and I think that's pretty good. Anybody like really on fire for one that was not nominated just now?
Crystals seem to be pretty well thought out. I like that one.
Crystals. I need to remember. It seems like there's a lot of thought gone into that. Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit tough to tack down exactly how it's supposed to work, but that could present an interesting challenge for this week for design. So yeah, I do agree. There's a lot going on here. It's maybe a bit heavy on the illustration, but other than that, I think the mechanics are pretty interesting. So yeah, okay, we'll put maybe a music note for that one. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we got those 5 emoji there. You can go ahead and vote as many times as you want for whichever ones you want, and we'll see which ones are the top runners, and we'll look at them in more detail. We'll try to limit it down to like 2 choices, I think. So go ahead and click on those emoji in that vote thing in your Concept 5A channel. And if you want to vote on several, go ahead. If you want to vote on just one, go ahead. Whichever ones you would be interested in. And I'll give you guys about a minute. We do kind of need Robert here to explain his trash one, but we could just make it up ourselves. Crystals was really cool. Lots of stuff going on. Sofy's was pretty simple, easy to understand. I think Isaac and Alan's idea, well, they're here. They could explain more if we needed them to. Seemed really solid. And then Nathan's is just funny. it's funny and I like it. So, close race, yeah. So I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds more to consider which ones you might want to vote for.
Go for the swan picture. Which is that connected to again? I can't remember.
The swan's connected to Nathan's side-scrolling beat 'em up with a swan. This one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Couple more seconds and we'll see. Close race, yeah. All right. So the top, almost. The top one we've got is the Magic Kitty. And then in second place, we got tied the Swan and the music one, the dubstep rhythm game. No, you can vote twice if you want. In fact, with Discord, you can't click on the same emoji twice. It'll just take your vote away. But you can vote on 2 different ones if you want to. Stop the count. All right. I see the numbers are kind of like jumping around a little bit. Should I wait? They're jumping all over the place. All right. So now the Magic Kitty and the Swan beat 'em up are tied for first with the music in third. I'm going to say that although the music one is really cool, I think it's maybe a bit too hard for us to do design concept for. Like, it's really neat looking, and it's a cool idea, but it relies on really involved illustration, I think. So I'm just going to say, like, let's not do that one. Let's run off between the Goose side-scrolling beat 'em up and the Magic Kitty. So let's take one more look at those two to refresh our memory about what's going on with there. Oh, whoops, I did the wrong one. That's Crystals. We were talking about Sofy's. Here we go. Okay. So Sofy's with a side-scrolling Magic Kitty is super adorable, really fun. We could do pixel art for it, like she says, or we could do illustration. So it's up to us, really, how we want to design. She's like designed it to be pixel art, which is fine, but we don't actually have to pay attention to that. We could do full illustration and painting if we want to. We could do like 2D animated limited animation, or we could do more elaborate or even more simplistic pixel art. That's what this week is for, is kind of setting that design and style. So think of this as the place to start, and you get to explore and reinterpret it and sort of do kind of fan art of it in a style that you're comfortable with and that you think would make for good gameplay. And also imagining specifically the environments and the magic powers and that sort of stuff that are going to make it really spectacular and fleshed out. So that's what we would be doing with both of these, is imagining that fully fleshed out and realized kind of concept. This one, I think it's got a lot of potential to it. I think there's a lot of unknowns, but that means it's more wide open to your interpretation. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing. And the story is simple enough that it's open to some interpretation, I think, as well. Let's look at Nathan's one more. So by comparison, Nathan's is a little bit more tacked down in what is going on. It's definitely like this modern kind of city urban setting. He's got some characters already set up there. But that said, the art inspiration could be pixel art for this one as well. It could be full illustration or more three-dimensional. But the gameplay is kind of laid out already in that sort of classic arcade, not top-down, but not quite side-scrolling, kind of this isometric side view, side-scrolling, which is very familiar if anybody's played like classic arcade beat-em-up games. It's a pretty standard thing. But I think that this could be explored even more with certain people's art style or attention to detail or love of pixel art or love of, more painterly kind of imagery. So yeah, I mean, I think both of them are pretty good options here, and both of them are essentially a 2D game, not a 3D game. So we can kind of focus our efforts in that realm at the very least. Does anyone want to advocate for one of these or the other, to say, I think this is a good option and here's why?
I think we should go for Sofy's because, because there's like, there's not really a known, there's like a combination between like pixel art, or we can go with like what you said, like with fan art, we can go with something like that.
Uh-huh.
With Goose Game, I get a big Newgrounds vibe. Just, not really pixel art as much, so it might be easier to go with Sofy's.
Well, you know that like Alien Hominid and those were originally Flash games, but there's no reason why they couldn't have been pixel art, right? Like either one of these could be treated that same way. But I appreciate that's magnanimous to say go with the other person's, but you're in the running, so you don't get to say that. You're just being nice. How about somebody else who's not in the running, who's not one of these two people? Anybody feel really strongly about one or the other?
I'd just like to clarify that it's not me that's running, it's the Goose.
Ah!
And just remember, if you took storyboard, the Goose tried to murder a child, so...
Yeah, I'm alright with that. Nobody else wants to go up to bat for either one of these two?
I feel really strongly that you should decide for us.
But I don't want to. I'd rather it be a vote. All right, let's just do one more runoff vote. Okay, so vote part 2. And I'm going to put just those two icons up there. So we're going to have just the goose. Wait, it wasn't a goose, it was a swan, but whatever. Swan. And just the... what is it, magician, mage, whatever. Okay, just those two. So go ahead and click between those two. If it's tied, I will decide for you. Fine.
Is it voting once?
Well, if you vote twice, then your vote cancels itself out, so go nuts. Oh. Yep, Trump said it's massive fraud. It looks like the magic one is more popular. Yeah, and it's climbing. Okay, Magic Kitty it is. Magic kitty. There you go. All right, so let's take a little look at Sofy's just to see if there's anything we missed at all, because I think this is pretty wide open and you guys can interpret it quite a bit. Upgrading the magical hat, staff, and cloak to give you different abilities. That's an interesting take. So you could do different versions of the cat's costume and staff if you wanted to, or you could start it off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. That the Google Doodle kind of kitty. You could start the magic kitty off with just basic equipment, like just a stick wand and a gray cloak, and then they could gain like an amulet and a hat and like a wizard staff and I don't know, some kind of little floating familiar or something like that. That would be a really cool kind of way to take it. And then as far as the environment goes, I think we're just kind of going like anthropomorphic animal, kind of a little bit more childish, maybe medieval fantasy kind of environment. This is a really interesting enemy, though. I keep looking at this. I don't know what you guys read that as, but I read that as like a cat made out of a hedge, which is also like an ogre. As if you were in like a magical hedge maze and part of the wall came alive or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's supposed to be like a mercat,
like scaly
fish sort of thing.
It could be. I mean, and there's no reason why you couldn't have like a mer level, like an underwater level or something like that. Cool. So the assignment for this week had not been written up and put into a module yet because I had to wait to see how the voting was going to go and what sort of idea we ended up with. But essentially what we're doing is designing now what are the characters going to look like exactly? What is the environment going to look like exactly? And our goal is to sort of make a promo picture by the end of next week. No, not the end of next week. 2 weeks. Our goal is to make a promo picture, each and every one of us, right? So what you should be thinking about is, how can I add to this idea? How can I explore this idea? What's cool about this idea? What would make for a good single image? So you're kind of going for a promo. Let me see if we can look up what are some existing like video game promo, and let's just look at images just to see what we get. So
do you want us to do like pixel art?
It's up to you. If you want to do pixel art, go ahead. But like this, so we got this Rick and Morty thing with some action, fully fleshed out, all the color, all of the environment is there, and it looks like an action shot from the game. Or this, right? Or this. All of that makes sense. Over here, this sort of thing, sort of like box art or poster art, that sort of thing is absolutely fantastic. That sort of thing is what we're ending up for as our end result. Or this is perfectly acceptable. This looks great, like a little still from the game. That's appropriate. It's just a little bit plain. This is a bit better because it's got HUD and UI. Let's see. This sort of thing where it's like a promo single image with the title up there. Makes sense. So that's what we're aiming for is like our end result. Or something like this, a little bit more promotional. Okay. But for this week, you're not making this image, you're designing all the bits of it. So you're designing, here's what I think the world should look like. Here's what I think a level should look like. Here's what I think the character should look like and how the character would transform throughout the course of the game to set us up right to do this promo in the following week. Okay? If you want to do layout for the promo, potential layout for it, that's really good. Position the characters, get a little bit of background in there, but don't finalize it. That's absolutely fine. This one for Epic Mickey is really good. Really fun. Gives you an idea of the sort of art and environment of the game. How scary it could potentially be. This one I believe is Call of Duty? I don't know. They all look the same. Some sort of modern shooter game where they're showing the potential vehicles and weaponry and setting. Here's a nice one for God of War, featuring the characters and a little bit of background. Oh, that's just a image. This sort of thing is good. This is not gameplay. It's a nice promotional kind of illustration. Here's even one for Among Us. I didn't even know any of these existed for Among Us, but I guess it makes sense. a couple of ghosts and people sitting around accusing each other. Make sense? Okay. So that's what we're aiming for eventually. This week is sort of how much can you decide to design and make it designed well, make it eye-catching, make it attractive, explore a art style that would work and make sense for the game, make it look like an actual game that is being played. Okay. What's a good name for that game tile? Is it up to you? Yeah, it's up to you. She name it? Let me see. Artemis the Magical Cat is what she named it, but if you wanted to name it Artemis's Adventure or the Magical Cat Adventure or Magic Cat or whatever, Magic Wizard Cat's Adventures in Wonderland, all of those permutations are great. He's going to name it, how would you pronounce that? O-W-O? I know it's a little...
Pronounced O-O.
O-O? I didn't know it had a pronunciation. Yeah, I mean, play with it. That's the idea, that she's created the first inspiration pass. Now your job is to take it and run with it. If you want to go very different from this concept, make sure it's got the basic elements still in place and run with it. If you want to go very similar to this and just tack down the design a little bit, that's fine, but that's probably not going to be as useful as running away with it a little bit, like cartooning it differently, illustrating it differently. Okay? Like you might explore with, what if this was like a, quadrupedal cat with a little hat on it? Would that be funny, to have a realistic cat? What if it was like a stuffed animal cat as opposed to like a living flesh and blood character? What if you chose a certain kind of like anime style for this cat? Because it already does kind of look like it's anime inspired. Could you look like a Hello Kitty kind of inspiration where they're super cute little like keychain characters already? Lots of different directions you could go with this, but that's sort of up to you. Inspire us, get us excited, because next week what we do is we look at that and we decide which one is the most promising of all, and then we all try to do some kind of version of that. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I still have to write that up officially, right, in our assignment, and I will provide examples similar to what we're seeing right now. Promo images, as well as like kind of explanations of what the gameplay is, as well as like in-game shots like this. But it's only one of those things that we're really going to make in the final week. Okay? So have fun, explore the idea, sketch it out, look at reference, especially for a 2D platformer. Like, let's look at that real class. 2D platformer. To just see what we get, because this is kind of the heritage of that genre. Although there's a lot that's been done over the few decades since this was first introduced. So there are some really interesting things you could do, like exploring parallaxing backgrounds or pseudo three-dimensional shapes in the background. There's a whole bunch of different art styles that can successfully be applied with 2D platformers. Some a little bit more like Studio Ghibli, like full three-dimensional. Some using, Illustrator graphic design kind of stuff to give kind of a sense of depth. Some pixel art like this. Lots and lots of room to play. Some more minimal, some more stylistic. Yeah. Tons that you can do with this. I mean, Cuphead, I would call it a beat-em-up game, but it is a 2D side-scrolling game as well. Going all the way back to like Castlevania, Mega Man, Mario Brothers. Lots you could do. You can have large illustrated characters that you interact with, kind of like how Cuphead works. You can have more static puzzle-like backgrounds like Braid. Really cool stuff you can do. All right? Any questions about this? Like, how much do we have to do exactly?
What are we going to be doing for Friday's lecture?
I am going to do examples. I'm going to explore personally. Like, I'll take the ideas, and if you guys want to shout out ideas on Friday, then I'll take those and run with them. Look up reference, illustrate things, cartoon it, play with the design. I'll show physically exactly what I want you guys to do.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Like, we'll look up reference like this. This is a very like graphic-y kind of style. It would be difficult to just illustrate that, but we could, and then you'd kind of construct it with an art engine, or you'd have to do straight up pixel art or draw and paint. A lot of different ways to go. But for me, it all starts with drawing. So I would probably just sketch things out and then look at references and collect them. Cool. Any other questions? Could you give us an estimation on when the Canvas page would be posted? Probably in less than an hour. I'm going to do it like as soon as we're off this call, just so I have time to concentrate on it and write it up properly. There you go. All right, you guys. If that's it for now, then you're free to go. Free to hang out and ask me a question or two, but then I'm going to write up the homework officially and post it, and it should be published within an hour. Yep. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. And yep, I will see you on Friday.